Hey gang, I hope you're doing very well. We're on week 2 of the challenge, and that brings us to lesson number 2. So, with this lesson, we're going to be talking about setting up the food plan to work for you. Now, if you may have noticed, there is already a sample food plan inside the platform, so that way you've got something to go off. If you don't want to follow that, however, this lesson's for you. Now, what we're going to talk about is the nutrition overview document that you would have seen on day 1, that it would have told you to have read, which has how to set up your food, what my recommended sources are, and how it all works. So when it comes to setting up your own food, okay, we first need to find out a start point about where to go from. What that means is we're going to need to calculate some stuff. So rather than just setting a target of 1,500 calories, all right, we obviously need to have a look at the bigger picture. Now, when it comes to our food, there's 3 energy sources: carbs, fats, and proteins. Okay, I'm a bit retarded in my fingers. There we go. So carbs, fats, and proteins, and that's going to help us figure out what we need to add into our foods. Now, what's my main points are with this one is how to calculate. So, first of all, we need to convert our weight into pounds. So go from the metric to the imperial system. So times your body weight by 2.2, and that will give you your some of your targets. Okay, so when we talk about carbohydrates, we're going to start off with 1 gram of carb per pound of body mass. Okay, we're going to start off with 1 gram of protein per pound of body mass, and then we're going to start with 0.3 grams of fat per pound of body mass. So when you add that up, so you're going to go, my body weight 60 kilos, I'm going to go 60 times 2.2 equals, and that's our pounds. Okay, now when we go for the fats, okay, so you're going to go body 60 kilos times 2.2 equals times by 0.3 and equals again, and that'll be your target for them. Okay, now obviously this is a start point for your food. Now when it comes to figuring out and making that balance, okay, if you're someone who expends or has a very active lifestyle, okay, and you would expend, say, closer to 3,000 calories per day, okay, we might need to up our food a little bit. So what I'd recommend there is increasing your carbohydrates and increasing your fats rather than just your protein. All right, protein, that's having 1 gram per pound of body mass is more than enough protein to have. All right, cool. Now, when we look at creating a deficit, obviously this is a fat loss challenge. All right, so we want to be 10 to 15% below that level of calorie expenditure. All right, so this is where those macro targets come into it. All right, if you're feeling that you're putting on weight, okay, or putting on body fat, then just drop your food down a little bit. It doesn't need to be dramatic. If you're losing weight and you're losing too much, say like 2 kilos, or you're starving, maybe you need to bring your food back up a little bit. Okay, that's the point to go with. Now, when it comes to how to figure out how much food to have each time you eat, okay, now I'm recommending to eat 5 to 6 times a day. Okay, so whatever those numbers come out to, divide that. So say 60 times by 2.2, so it's going to come to about 130. Okay, divide that by 5 or 6, depending on how many times you're eating, and that'll be the targets for you each time you go to eat. So if your target is to eat 30 grams of protein and 30 grams of carbohydrates each time or at each meal, then what we need to do is go into MyFitnessPal, or you can do it in the hub as well. Okay, type in, say, whatever source of carbohydrates you want to have, whether that's rice, pumpkin, potatoes, whatever. Put it in. Okay, so I'm going to have rice, I'm going to have 120 grams. Okay, that comes to 25 grams of carbohydrates. All right, I need a little bit more. Let's go maybe 130. Okay, it's 28 grams of carbs. Okay, 135. Boom, done. Okay, that's how we can kind of figure it out as we go along with our food. When we talk about having total amounts of protein, so if we needed to hit 130 grams of protein over the day, that does not mean 130 grams of chicken breast Okay, the inside 100 grams of chicken breast is about 20 to 22 grams of protein. Okay, so if you see how much, you're probably going to find that you're going to be eating quite a lot of food, all right, which is going to keep you nice and full, which means we're not going to binge. All right, guys, so that's basically the principles of the plan. You'll notice in that nutrition overview, okay, if you haven't seen it already, make sure you go into your files tab and have a look about what sources of food I actually recommend. Okay, so there's recommended sources for carbohydrates, for proteins, and for fats. All right, guys, so make sure you check that out, have a look. Let's smash another awesome week.